let's keep in mind Denver is paying Russ to play for the Steelers right now, which is a painful thing.
But who would have thought that after going 10 touchdowns, a single interception, Justin Fields would have been benched after going 4-2 in a start. Russell Wilson comes in, starts the performance suspectly, I would say. Right? He doesn't cook very well, but then as soon as I post that on Reddit, guess what happens? He completely flips it, doesn't look that bad, and now
you got
Tomlin.
cooked.
Yeah, Tomlin looks pretty smart for the way that he handled this. However, I still think that Justin Fields gives them the best chance to win. I am not impressed by Russell Wilson's moonball, as Chris Collinsworth called out. Did you hear that one?
He did.
He
threw it up.
And there's
threw it
a
up
guy
to
that can
Pickens.
throw a moonball. Oh boy.
Threw it up to Pickens.
I could throw a moonball too.
Dirk, Russ looked solid in this game, and I still think on the vertical passing game, he is a better pick than Fields. Fields is an improviser for sure, and he has the higher ceiling at this point. I think, though, Pittsburgh, given the defense that they have, look, people were all over Russ the last 2 years, and for good reason, especially in 2022. But if you look back last year, Wilson in 15 games had 26 touchdowns against 8 interceptions, 3,050 yards passing or something like that.
Like their offense looked horrible.
The Broncos...
The stats might show them, but they looked terrible.
They went on a big winning streak after Russ, pretty much the bridges had been burned by the organization. It was a bizarre situation. Russ was not that bad in 2023, Dirk. In fact, you could make a point, given how good the Broncos defense is, had Denver, let's keep in mind Denver is paying Russ to play for the Steelers right now, which is a painful thing. If Pittsburgh ends up going deep into the postseason.
Especially as you could have Dallas Turner.
Well, no, I'm going to take it a different direction. Let's say Denver had held on to Russ. Now, granted, he has to play out his contract, but let's say Russ is playing at the caliber that he played in last week's game, and he ends up, in that 26 touchdown, 8 interception situation. What if Denver has Russ and Brock Bowers right now, which is a perfectly realistic scenario in the draft? He was available. It would have happened. He would have been there.
Yeah,
What if?
Yeah, what happened with Jake Butt?
Well, Jake Butt is not Brock Bowers.
What happened to Troutman?
None of these guys are Brock Bowers. You ended up, again...
What about Noah Fant?
Noah Fant did not have top 5 draft grade potential. That's the thing. Bowers was considered one of the 5 best guys coming out. He just happens to be in the tight end position.
You said that about Kyle
and
Pitts,
he's looked
and he hasn't made a difference at all.
I know, but Brock Bowers had. We're talking about the guy who is legitimately putting up 100 yards a game as a tight end right now. He looks like
no one
the
else
real
to
deal.
throw to, man.
No, he is an absolute weapon. Brock Bowers is elite. You're going to hear about this guy for years. He might be in anonymity like Barkley was in New York, but he is a legit weapon. It's just an interesting thing to consider. But, of course, the Broncos, the front office, Peyton, that relationship with Wilson was burned into the ground. And Wilson takes blame on that, too. This was all parties at fault in this situation. A terrible marriage.
They could have gone with Zach Wilson. Yeah, I'm going to say this. They could have gone with Zach Wilson at this point and still probably been in the situation where they're at right now. I think Zach Wilson and Bo Nix, there's not a lot of difference right now between those two.
It's possible. I don't know. My point is this. It'll come up for sure. But it's going to be absolutely painful for the Broncos if Pittsburgh ends up making a real run. We'll see. It's a 1-game sample size, but the Steelers are a good football team right now, Dirk, and they have reason to believe they're a contender. I'll go on the record and say this. Denver's defense right now rivals Pittsburgh's defense, and it would be very interesting if Denver had veteran leadership at the quarterback position and an elite tight end weapon, what that team would look like this year, especially with the Chiefs kind of slumping right now. The most slumping 6-0 team we've ever seen. Let's call it that. They've played close every week. You pointed it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.